Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In case it's your first time here, my name is ejatu.shaw and I'm a London-based photographer. And we made it in print again. I had the pleasure of photographing best-selling author Hallie Rubenhold for the cover of Guardian books. I actually went to go pick this up today. This is one of many editorial shoots I've done for the Guardian, so I just thought I'd make a video to kind of break down the process when it comes to shooting this sort of stuff on location. What does it mean to be on assignment? What is my approach to using the location, lighting, and so on? And also, what are some of the expectations that the publications might have for the work I'm making for them? So first of all, how does an editorial assignment of this nature come about? So I've been shooting for the Guardian for about 2 years, and I'm currently, I believe, in the database. So the picture desk basically is able to find photographers that they've worked with or that they have details for, and basically pair the right photographers for the right jobs. Someone at the picture desk will basically email me and ask if I'm available to do a particular shoot. And the reason they even have my details is because I assist an amazing photographer, Suki Danda, shout out to you. And through assisting her, I've been able to meet a lot of picture editors and they've been able to get their eyes onto my work. With these editorial commissions, I get given a brief. So in this particular instance, I was photographing Hallie Rubenhold for a piece about her new book, The Story of a Murder, which gives the point of view of the woman involved in this particular case. So we're looking at Bella, Dr. Crippen's wife's point of view, as well as some of the ladies involved in solving the case. The editors thought it would be a really good idea to place Hallie in that environment. So specifically photographing Hallie in the original holding cells that Dr. Crippen was held in the night before his hearing. So this is situated in what is now known as Bow Street Police Museum. I was told to make some really classy portraits, not necessarily portraying Hallie as a prisoner per se, but placing her in this environment and allowing the readers to really take in the historical significance of the location. And so it would pair really nicely with the interview she was doing. Once the location was locked in, I had already received some suggestions of where exactly to photograph Hallie. We had the option of the holding cells that had a really nice cream tile situation going on, and then we also had the corridor where we had some green tiles, and I was also told to bring along a backdrop option in case we needed something more clean and simple. So on the day of the shoot, I headed into my studio to pick up all of the equipment I needed and also a backdrop. Luckily, Hallie had already sent her clothing options over, so I knew exactly what color to go for. I went for this blue color and packed it away along with the backdrop stand. I also packed lighting. So in this instance, I was going to be using a Profoto B10 light as it's so easy to set up. It's battery powered, so I wouldn't have to worry about finding sockets in a prison cell. Let's head to our location and I'll do a bit more of an equipment breakdown for you guys. I arrived on time at the Bow Street Police Museum and was kindly welcomed by Simon, who showed me around and showed me a few of the different setup options I could use. I placed all my stuff in a cell and began to set up my B10 light, which I was going to be pairing with an Octa and a Fusion. Next, I took some time to set up my backdrop, and I must say these, I believe they're 135 centimeters wide backdrops are so handy for on-location shoots. They're so easy to move from place to place and they can fit in most cars. They are so much cheaper to purchase and they're quite easy to set up alone. So if you are a one-man band like I was on that day, then you shouldn't have any problems. Let's talk camera equipment. So I was renting out a Canon 5D Mark IV during that time, and I had a 70 to 200mm lens with me, and I also took along a recent purchase I made, the Samyang 35mm lens, which I ended up making the most use of during the shoot. I shot tethered for this shoot so I could really get a sense of what was happening as far as lighting was concerned and framing, especially because the Samyang lens is a manual lens, so I really wanted to make sure I was in focus. So shooting everything directly to my laptop and checking the images as they came through was so helpful. Once I had created and refined the grade I wanted on the images, I decided on my first setup, which was going to be the green tiles, as I felt like this would be the strongest location for a cover image. I placed my B10 quite high and to the side of where Hallie would be standing, and placed myself in a cell where I was going to be taking the photos from. And I stood here as I felt like the cell door frame could really help to create a really strong composition around Hallie, because she had the light pouring into her. Then basically in the foreground it would be darkness. That option was feeling quite final, so I went ahead and asked Simon from the museum to step in so I could take some test photos of him. When Hallie arrived, I briefed her on the setup and the lighting, and I also showed her the test shots we had taken, and as soon as she was ready, we got straight into our shoot. We took a quick break and I moved the equipment into the cell that was holding the backdrop. So we took a few shots against the blue backdrop, but felt the imagery wasn't as strong as some of the options we had created in the previous setup. So we switched to the third setup option, which was the cream tiles. Once we felt like we had enough image options, Hallie and I went ahead and looked through the Capture One session and began to mark some of her favorite options and poses. And then it was time to pack down. After the shoot was done, I went through the images again and began to get rid of anything that was blurry, also any images that I felt weren't as strong as the other options. I exported the low-res versions of the files and sent them across to the picture editor at The Guardian, who then sent me their selects for both print and online. I finalized my grading, I did some light retouching, and sent across the high-res images to the picture editor, ready for the print deadline. And this is the final result. I really hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of how I shoot on location for magazines and newspapers. If you have any questions, do leave them down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.